Can you believe it? John Cena, one of the biggest names in WWE history, is about to have his final match, and the choice of opponent has some insiders raising eyebrows. Cena versus Gunther, it's happening, but not everyone in WWE is thrilled. Some people get it, they understand why it's happening. But deep down, they're not in love with it. It's that kind of decision that sparks debates online, in locker rooms, and across social media. And if you've been following WWE closely, you know these final match setups can define careers. Now, looking at the landscape, it makes sense. Cena's final years have had their ups and downs. For every blockbuster showdown with AJ Styles or Randy Orton, there have been less memorable moments. But choosing Gunther as his final opponent? From a quality standpoint, it's actually perfect. Gunther has been dominant, consistent, and brings that cold, calculated intensity that makes a final match feel meaningful. It's not about who benefits most here, it's about creating a memorable finale for Cena, a proper send-off for a 17-time world champion. But that doesn't mean fans and insiders don't imagine the what-ifs. LA Knight, for example, is a name that comes up in whispers and debates. The guy has been overlooked for too long, and in an alternate universe, putting him against Cena could have been a storybook underdog tale. Imagine a young, hungry competitor, barely in his prime, stepping up to face a legend in his final match. The shock factor, the emotional investment, the storytelling, it's exactly the kind of thing wrestling thrives on. But the timing just didn't line up. LA Knight had his shot, but for Cena's final match, Gunther checks all the narrative boxes. Speaking of shock and intrigue, let's pivot to another major story. Jacob Fatu, the SmackDown star who's been mysteriously absent. Fatu's disappearance wasn't your typical storyline break. He was attacked backstage in what WWE is calling a mystery incident. Blood, chaos, and teeth. Yes, teeth were involved, all part of a kayfabe setup to write him off TV while he handled some real-life dental surgery. It sounds brutal, but sources now indicate he could return imminently. Survivor Series whispers hinted he might even step into major matches shortly after, teasing feuds that could shake up SmackDown. The possibilities with Fatu's return are endless. A feud with the attacker is almost guaranteed, and the Royal Rumble could be just the stage to showcase his comeback. Imagine the hype, a returning star, bloodied but not beaten, stepping into the ring with vengeance on his mind. It's the kind of story that keeps fans glued to their screens, waiting to see exactly how it unfolds. WWE thrives on moments like this, high stakes, surprise returns, and personal vendettas that feel real and impactful. Then there's Bobby Lashley, the man who seems untouchable in the ring, but when you peek behind the curtain, he's surprisingly nice. MVP recently spoke about protecting Lashley, and the image is almost comical but entirely believable. A massive, intimidating powerhouse who can barely handle his own niceness in a world full of chaos. MVP steps in because, let's be honest, Bobby Lashley is too giving, too trusting. He can't say no when someone wants to challenge him, and that's where the magic of wrestling storytelling comes in. It's not just about strength, it's about character dynamics, backstage politics, and human moments that add layers to the larger-than-life personas. And here's the kicker, Bobby's not just a softie behind the scenes, he dominates in the ring. Matches that might seem brief or simple on TV, those are demonstrations of his raw power and skill. Add MVP's protective oversight, and suddenly it's a narrative goldmine. Fans love to see the dichotomy. A man capable of incredible feats yet grounded in humility, guided by a manager who ensures the spectacle doesn't get out of hand. It's storytelling that elevates both the character and the performers around him. Shifting gears from wrestlers to promotions, let's talk about TNA, which has been struggling with TV deals for what feels like forever. There's finally movement. TNA is reportedly heading to AMC, the network behind Breaking Bad and The Walking Dead. This is huge, not just for TNA, but for wrestling fans everywhere. AMC reaches around 60 million homes, providing exposure and legitimacy for a promotion that's often overlooked. For talent, it's a game changer. More visibility, better contracts, and a chance to compete in a space where wrestling isn't just a niche, it's primed for mainstream attention. Think about it, a strong TV deal allows TNA to invest in its talent, improve production quality, and even expand its touring schedule. For wrestlers, that means opportunities to shine, paychecks that reflect their hard work, and a platform to prove themselves before moving to larger stages like WWE or AEW. And for fans, it means fresh storylines, competitive matches, and an alternative brand to follow. Wrestling thrives on options and variety, and a revitalized TNA adds a new layer to the industry. Returning to Cena for a moment, the question of who wins his final match is a hot topic. Some insiders lean towards Cena ending on a win, creating a feel-good send-off, while others argue that putting him over might diminish Gunther's legacy. Both perspectives have merit. Cena is a legend, yes, but Gunther has carved his own path of dominance and consistency. This tension between storytelling and legacy is precisely why final matches are so compelling. They're not just matches, they're history in the making. Meanwhile, the fan perspective adds another layer. Speculation runs wild on social media, forums, and podcasts. Could a surprise underdog like LA Knight have stolen the spotlight? Will Fatu's return disrupt existing storylines? How will MVP's oversight of Lashley play into future feuds? Wrestling thrives on uncertainty, and the combination of these narratives keeps audiences coming back week after week. It's a cycle of anticipation, discussion, and debate that fuels engagement like few other entertainment forms can. And let's not forget the tangential, human side of wrestling. These are real people with quirks, personalities, and dynamics that extend beyond the scripted matches. Stories about MVP protecting Lashley, Fatu's dental hiatus, and Cena's careful opponent selection aren't just filler, they're glimpses into the real stakes and human stories behind the spectacle. Fans are drawn to this authenticity even when it's presented in kayfabe. It's why interviews, behind-the-scenes insights, and commentary videos get millions of views. They bridge the gap between fantasy and reality. TNA's move to AMC also reflects the business side of wrestling. Promotions are constantly balancing talent management, production costs, and audience reach. A new TV deal doesn't just impact who's on screen, it influences who gets signed, which storylines are feasible, and how creatively the promotion can operate. For wrestlers, it's about opportunities. For fans, it's about better content. And for the industry, it's about long-term sustainability. Watching TNA step up in this way signals a more competitive, dynamic wrestling world where multiple brands can coexist and thrive. Let's circle back to Cena and Gunther one more time, because the implications of this match go beyond just a final bout. Cena represents a generation of wrestling, a legend whose career has spanned decades. Gunther, methodical and imposing, symbolizes the present and future of the industry. The contrast itself tells a story, the past meeting the future in a single ring, creating a moment that fans will talk about for years. Every strike, submission, and counter in this match is layered with history, context, and expectation. Similarly, Fatu's return is a perfect example of how unpredictability fuels engagement. Fans don't know exactly when he'll appear or what his story will be. Just the tease of him stepping back into the spotlight is enough to spark discussions and speculation. It's suspense delivered in real time, blending real-world events with the scripted drama of wrestling. And when executed well, it elevates the product for everyone involved, performers, promotions, and viewers alike. Bobby Lashley's situation also reminds us of the nuance behind the spectacle. A man of his physical prowess, guided by a manager who balances power and protection, adds layers of storytelling that make matches more than just physical contests. It's about relationships, strategy, and character depth. The subtle backstage politics, the human moments, the way MVP shields Lashley from potential harm, they all feed into the larger narrative that fans see on TV, often without realizing the careful choreography behind the scenes. Finally, TNA's deal with AMC is the cherry on top. It's not just about wrestling on a new channel, it's about opportunity, growth, and legitimacy. Fans can expect better matches, more compelling storylines, and a revitalized promotion that pushes creative boundaries. Wrestlers gain stability and exposure, audiences gain entertainment, and the industry gains diversity. In a world where WWE and AEW dominate headlines, TNA's resurgence is a welcome shake-up. So, what does all this mean for fans? Wrestling's landscape is shifting. Legends are stepping away, new stars are rising, and promotions are finding fresh ways to captivate audiences. Cena vs. Gunther isn't just a match, it's a passing of the torch. Fatu's return is a reminder that surprises keep the industry alive. Lashley and MVP show us the human side of these larger-than-life performers. And TNA's new TV deal proves that opportunity and innovation still have a place in professional wrestling. The bottom line? Wrestling isn't just about what happens inside the ring. It's about the stories, the people, and the moments that make fans feel something. As the landscape evolves, one thing is clear. Whether you're watching Cena's final match, anticipating Fatu's comeback, or following TNA's next move, The excitement, unpredictability, and drama of professional wrestling are very much alive. And now, the question for you, who do you think will win Cena's final match? How do you see Jacob Fatu's return shaking up SmackDown? And which TNA storyline are you most excited to follow now that they're heading to AMC? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because the next chapter of wrestling history is already being written and you won't want to miss a moment.